Hey everybody, I just finished another book in the point horror series. This is The Boyfriend by R.L. Stein. So last month was November, and I wanted to do a TBR for like thankfulness and different things like that. And I wanted to do something special for my girlfriend, so what I did was I told her to come into my library and pick out a book for me to read, and she picked this. And I really like that because this book, I do go with like themes, like time of the month, or what year, season is it in the book, and different things like that. And this book goes from October all the way to like December, so it had like a little bit of a Christmassy kind of feel to it. So that was pretty cool. The story itself follows Joanna. Um, her dad left her family like a year ago, and he divorced her mom, and now they got like a lot of money from him, like through the divorce, and she's basically the spoiled, entitled brat of a girl. And yeah, she's very shallow and different things like this, things like that. She's dating this guy named Dex, right? And she wants to break up with him, and she wants to break up with him so she could date this guy named Shep Forrest, which both of these guys have absolutely weird names. I'm sorry if your name is Dex or Shep, but yeah, that's not a real name. Maybe Shepherd. I don't know. Even that's pushing it. But anyway, Dexter. I mean, come on, Dexter would have been just fine. But whatever. Um, so one night, Dick sneaks up to Joanna's house, and he climbs up that thing you see in these movies, the leafy looking thing. I don't know what it's called. It's got a name to it, but I can't think of it. But he sneaks up there, and he talks her into sneaking out and going for a joyride. And she thinks about breaking up with him, but she ends up caving in and driving off with him. They go to this like ravine, like cliff, like thing, and the Dex, and he invites one of his friends named Pete, and Dex is playing like near the cliff, and he pretends to fall, and he actually does one time, but he lands on this like cliff on the outside, and he climbs back up, and then he actually does fall, and yeah, Joanna panics and she drives away, but she says she's going to go get help. On her way to go get help, she gets hit by a truck and wakes up in the hospital. Pete comes in and he informs her that Dex died. He's not alive anymore, and different things like that. So Joanna's really freaked out, but one night she hears somebody climbing back up her. I think is it Traverse or something? The little thing. Anyway, I'll look it up when I get done with this review. But he climbs up there and he informs her that he is alive and he's fine. And she tells her friend, hey, I seen Dex last night. He's alive. But when she tells this to Pete, Pete freaks out and he says, no, like I was at his funeral. He's dead. He's not alive anymore. So yeah, she starts seeing him in public. She actually sees him in public before he climbs up the thing to go see her. But yeah, she starts getting weird phone calls from him, different things like that. She ends up going out on a date with Dex, who is supposedly dead, and yeah, she starts noticing that he starts turning greener than usual. His teeth are falling out. He's got like a bad limp. Different things like that are happening, and she doesn't know why. There's like a weird, like they're at a movie theater, and he has like a weird smell coming from him. Yeah, it's really gross and weird, but honestly, not that interesting. Somehow, this book I was not interested in. I was slightly interested into finding out exactly what was going on. I had an idea, but I didn't know exactly what the idea was, but I kind of knew, and I was kind of like half right. Um, the twist of what's actually going on was very predictable, but I will give it props for having something to do with somebody's hobby or something. I'm not going to say much more, but yeah, I thought that was really clever. The ending was absolutely terrible. Most of the characters in this book were sucky. I didn't like much. Yeah, this wasn't one of my favorite point horror books. It was just very. I felt myself being very bored reading it because basically all this is about a guy that dies and comes back to get revenge on his ex girlfriend who doesn't care about him. And yeah, it nothing really happens. I mean, there's not much. I mean, I did like the gore stuff that was written, but then when you get to the end, I'm not gonna spoil anything there, but yeah, it kind of doesn't matter. But that's all I'm really gonna say much more about the boyfriend from R.L. Stine. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars because I do think it was okay. I don't think it was perfect. In fact, it's closer to like a 2 out of 5, but I'm gonna give it a 3 because I don't think it was like terrible. I just think that it was just kind of okay, like barely okay, like just all right, you know. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars from me, guys. Please let me know in the comments. Did you read The Boyfriend? Is it your favorite point horror book by R.L. Stine? It's not mine. I think The Hitchhiker's in the point horror series. That's probably mine, or Beach House. But yeah, haven't reviewed those yet. But yeah, The Boyfriend, 3 out of 5 stars for me, guys. I think that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.